Hey there, outliers. Niiamah is Sean here, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of your journey here today. I am very excited because we have brought on three incredible trailblazers for this roundtable. I cannot wait for you to get to meet them. Why don't we go ahead and start off with Brett? Brett, thank you for being here today. Why don't you let us know more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Thank you, Niiamah. My name is Brett Eaton. I'm here in Miami, Florida. The game that I am playing, I love that phrase of a question. I have a brand new book that's coming out that I'm really excited about called Uncomfortable Either Way. I'm a high performance coach by trade, and I'm all about helping people embrace risk and discomfort in their life to hopefully reduce the amount of regret we have at the end.
Oh, that's fantastic, Brett. I think that's going to be like for the outliers and trailblazers listening here, like that's exactly the place that we like to play in. So you're in a great place. I'm excited to play with you. Dave, let's
Excellent.
get to know you. You mind sharing more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Sure. My name is Dave Pisarra. I'm a divorce and family law attorney in California. And what I'm doing is I'm teaching dads how to represent themselves in family court. My new book, Dad's Child Custody Action Plan, has been out and it's just been a blockbuster seller. It's the responses are amazing. And the goal for me is to teach a million men how to have more time with their kids so that the world actually becomes a better place because when kids have fathers in their lives, they do better overall.
I want. Can you say the name of your book one more time? I heard you say that, but it come through for me.
Dad's Child Custody Action Plan.
Nice, thank you. There's something in what you're saying that I think is one is I'm glad that you are someone that's on a mission, right? I get that, and I really want to say thank you for taking on the mission that you are because like we can all feel the impact of that. Right? I'm glad that
Thank
you're
you.
here. Yeah, Josephine, we'd love to get to know you. Mind letting us know more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Hi, my name is Josephine. I'm an attorney in Nigeria. I am also what they call a human rights defender. I work with women and children. I try to provide legal service and support for those in prisons. And I'm also into politics and I podcast. I'm a new mom. So the game I'm currently playing now is being trying to be a good mom to my daughter, and that's just about it.
Well, congratulations there on your growing family.
Thank
And yeah, and I see the level of um fidelity and care that you bring into things. So I'm excited for her and the work that you do. All right.
thank you.
All right, y'all. So let's jump into this roundtable here. I think that there's something here that I'm feeling. I feel like all of you play at a very high level, and I think I want to start off here with the element of like of courage for you as you're playing here, right? And so I'm curious about something that you're building right now that is actually asking you to create like the comfortable place of a lot of courage. The way I often think about it like sweaty palms, it's like I'm doing it, but here we go. I'd love to hear about like what that is for you and how you're choosing to navigate through it. Anyone want to get us started on that?
Yeah, I would like to start because a lot of cases I take they are very difficult, challenging cases. Sometimes they are dangerous and and they are risky. But I tend to dive in. What is most important for me is getting justice for my clients. And basically, I also try to educate the people in Nigeria about their rights, about what good governance is, and that's what I do with my podcast. And doing that has not endeared me to governments, so I don't get called in for political appointments or where they need my advice or my expertise because of the fact that I sometimes criticize them in my podcast. So that's just about it.
Thanks,
Brett, this
Josephine.
one's to you.
Yeah. That was a great answer. I speak a lot about confidence, and I love that you set it up with courage because I think courage is a gateway to confidence. And
Yeah.
sometimes we need to have the courage to step out, do something different. And what's funny is, spending 2 years writing this book, and Dave, I'm sure you can imagine, it's like you get to this point where now it's actually in your hands, and now it's about to be in other people's hands, and you've put your
Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears and life into this project. And now it's out there for the world to see and to hopefully love as much as I've loved working on it. And I think the courage part comes into play of now it's, I love the line, like I didn't come this far just to come this far. Now it's the time to say like, hey, where can I show up in the world differently, and how can I do the work to get this book in as many people's hands, and really not the book, but the message in as many people's hands to hopefully have the impact that I'm looking for. So it's been a great lesson of kind of following my own advice here, and almost going back to the book and saying it's going to be uncomfortable either way. Well, here we are. We're at that moment where I have to choose. Let's embrace the promotional side of it and show up on the podcast, do the work to get the message out there.
That's exactly how I feel. Because what I'm dealing with is teaching dads how to have courage going into family court. And that's a very uncomfortable place, because where Josephine has people who are fighting the government, I've got people who are fighting their former wife or maybe their girlfriend and the government. So we've got people who are having to face, battles on maybe 2 fronts, maybe 3 fronts. There could be a therapist involved. There could be 4 fronts, a minors council involved, all of whom are coming at my dad going like, don't be a deadbeat dad, pay your child support. And he's going, great, I want more time with my kid. Just pay your child support. That's all that really matters. And I'm telling them that they've got to have courage to fight back, and they got to push back on that stuff, because what's really important for kids isn't the money, it's the time with their parent. That's what they need.
Yeah. I remember there was a case I had of a father that his partner denied him access to the child, and we were in court trying to get him access. And the court were wondering, why do you want to get access? The child is still small, it's supposed to be with the mother. And when we were trying to file us and serve, this lady took the child out of state. And the system frustrated everything possible. Because as if fathers don't have right to their children. I really, really commend you on what you are doing with educating fathers.
That.
Yes, it's very important.
It's really a global problem. I have guys reach out to me from all over Africa, Australia, throughout Asia, Europe, and it's a real issue of how are we treating dads these days, because that's our future. If the dads don't raise up good kids, we're not going to have good citizens.
Exactly. You're right.
I'm liking where this conversation is already going, and thank you all for playing so much with each other. Brett, you just brought in something that I thought was pretty interesting, where you talked about the experience of like coming on the podcast and choosing to be like, okay, like I wrote the book for 2 years. I like the reason I say this, I wrote a book too, and I didn't realize that it was a courage thing, but I didn't put it out in the world in the way that like it's not behind me, it's not the thing that I'm putting out like in this way. So I want to speak a bit here to that element of the nuance I want to think about when I think about outliers and trailblazers is the place of going and actually being in promotion of yourself and what it is that you stand for. Like Brett, you said, it's like not just the book, it's the message that's behind it. And I think that a lot of outliers listening to this find that they run into some kind of crossroads or some kind of wall when it comes to like shifting to actually like doing what it takes to get the reach that they're looking for. So Brett, since you had me think about this first, I'd love to start with you, and then let's see where the rest of this conversation goes.
Yeah, I think in order to be an outlier or a trailblazer, it's not just the passion or the idea. It's the execution and also putting it out there. I think a lot of people have really great ideas and have amazing passions or things that could change the world. But if the world doesn't know about it, it cannot change the world. So I think part of that is, and you touched on the courage piece, part of it is putting yourself out there and the belief that you have behind your message, behind your mission, behind your product or service, whatever it may be. But you also have to let the world know. And I always went back to, and a former coach told me this once, but when it comes to promotion, sometimes we feel weird about self-promotion. But I always like painting the visual of there is somebody who's sitting on the edge of their bed every night thinking about this problem that they have. And if you have the problem that can help them, you can stop them from sitting on their bed crying themselves to sleep every night, fixing whatever problem they have or whatever challenge they're facing. They'll never know about it unless you have the courage to speak up, share, and put your service out there to go help them. And whenever I get caught up not wanting to promote or not wanting to share on social media or not wanting to put the thing, if I'm battling that confidence or courage, it's become about me and how am I going to look and how are people going to judge me. But if I flip it back to that one person and I put that image of that one person needs me to promote this, or they need to find this book so that they can help themselves, all of a sudden it shifts the whole dynamic of how it feels, and it feels like you're back in service.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is from that great philosopher Snoop Dogg. Don't be nervous, be of service.
I love it.
And when I get, because I've been a professional speaker for 12 years. I've been in front of judges for 26 years. Like, I don't normally get anxious, but every now and then I'm in front of an audience and I get anxious. And I think about that and it just calms me right down because it's that element of humor. But at the same time, it's a really important point because imposter syndrome, which is really what this is, that lack of courage is just imposter syndrome, that I'm not good enough. What I have to say isn't really all that valuable. It creeps in. I don't know anybody that doesn't deal with it at some point in time. And we just have to find our tools to like get past it. Because you're right. If we don't put the message out there, if what I've got can help somebody and help them get time with their kid, and I'm just too scared to put it out there because someone's going to judge me and someone's going to say, oh, that book cover is ugly, or oh, the content isn't that great, or oh, he's such a just scummy lawyer who's out trying to make a buck off other people's pain, which I get all the time. I'm not actually helping anybody. I can't be quieted by them.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to be you. You just have to do what you need to do. And one of my philosophies is that not everybody will like me, and you can't actually please everybody. You just have to do what you need to do. There was a friend of mine, and when we were discussing governance, what needs to be done, and she said, "Oh, part of the things you need to do in governance is to make sure that everybody is happy." And I said, "You can't please everybody, even if you say you are not cake, and some people don't even like cake. So why do you think you have the ability as a human being to please everybody? You just have to dig your feet deep in there and then just do what you need to do. And if you make an impact and you've touched one life, that is enough to keep giving you the courage to continue doing what you need to do in order to change the situations or remove the status quo. In my practice in politics, when I ran as a politician and as a female, a woman, I was in an environment where I was the only female and among all male politicians. So there was a lot of sexism, there was a lot of, you don't have the capacity, you don't have the ability. Why are you coming here? You don't even have the connections. But I was more concerned about how my fellow citizens need good governance. And I believe within myself that I have the capacity, I have what it takes to provide good governance to the citizens. And that was what gave me the courage to keep doing what I'm doing right now. I mean, somebody will say they don't like your book cover, they don't like the topic, or they feel that you've not written something. They should go ahead and do it if they think it's so easy. They should go ahead and do it.
It's one of my favorite sayings is my ugly book is better than your book that you haven't written.
Exactly.
And trust me, my first book was ugly. 5 years ago, I put out a book. I look at that cover now. I'm like, what was I thinking? It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
And
But at
outliers,
least you wrote it.
Exactly.
Some
And it's
can't even
out there and
write
it helps people.
in a complete journal. They can't do it.
there's something that comes here, like as I'm listening to this, and like I think that like I have to find a way to get my book out into the world because I feel like there's always something that like comes back here where I'm like, this book has just been sitting here, 200 pages with all this stuff. Like I should do something about it. But the real for me as I'm listening to this is like we're talking about a book specifically right here, but even just when like you brought it out in like a different way in terms of like this is a project, right? So outliers, as you're listening to this, like book right now has its own tangible thing because it's very present for some of the people on this conversation. But it's like this could be a program. This could be you bringing out your offers out to the world. This could be you like bringing someone in to actually get support with what it is that you do. And I think that like there's what I'm hearing from you. Some of the things I'm hearing are from you three are like one, like know your larger mission and message and let that like shine through. Two, like come from a place of service. And if you come from a place of service, then it no longer becomes about you, it becomes about the service that you're doing.
Right.
And three, like even if people say things there, like um the element that I feel like this is outliers edge, like there's an edge to being like you could say whatever you want, but I'm still doing this. Like I'm still out here. Like there's nothing that really is gonna stop me other than me. So I'm gonna keep going.
Mhm.
And anything y'all want to say or add to this in a bit here? I think what I want to say is like, all right, what I want to do is challenge, like dive deep more into like the nuance of this, right? Because this, even as I say it out loud, I'm like, this feels good, you know. This is the kind of Gatorade that I want to be drinking, or the Kool-Aid that I want to be drinking. And yet at the same time, I'm curious about like, what's the hardest part about doing what we're saying here, right? Like, and then let's maybe look at it for each of you individually, but like what would have been the cost to you of doing it? Not a financial cost, but what's the cost of choosing to be authentic? And Josephine said, "Do you, be you." What have you found to be like the biggest cost along that? I'll be curious what y'all have.
Hmm.
I would say a completely different life. I think funny enough, I'm going back to a conference in September that I first went to in 2015. And when I went in 2015, I had no idea why I was going. It was called the Summit of Greatness. So it's a very similar, like this similar field that we're all playing in here. And I was not playing great at that time. Let me just say, like I was a stretch, put myself in there. And I really just remember saying, I know that there's more out there. I just really don't know what I'm looking for, but I know the way I'm living isn't it. And the to me, when you say what is the cost is all the potential that you could let pass you by, and the years of the life that you can live, and the projects that you have been sitting on, and the things that you said that you were going to do. I was such the quintessential person of, oh, I'm going to do that when, or I'm going to build this thing when, or maybe I could start a business when. And I just had every excuse not to do it. And then finally you just start saying, man, like years are passing by and you're wasting a lot of potential. And what's funny enough is going back now 10 years later, and I just feel like I'm a completely different person. And it's probably, and it's because you take what you learn, you put it into action, and you look back. And of course, there are so many like little mistakes that you make, but when you're in it, you're just looking forward. So I think a lot of people who are maybe fearful of what's going to happen if I mess up, I think maybe that's the wrong vision. You're focusing on where am I going to mess up as opposed to how much am I going to learn. Think about writing a book. You write a book, it's like, man, David, it doesn't surprise me at all that your second book is so much, or your third, whichever one you're on, is so much better, because just the process of finishing it, putting the cover on, stamping it, having it printed, I think back and I'm like, I could do that way differently if I ever decide to do that again. No different than a podcast, no different than speaking. It's like, it's just reps. And
Yep.
we talked about courage being an avenue to confidence. I think repetition is another one of those avenues that lead people to confidence.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that Niiamah, when you were talking, I was reminded of the Teddy Roosevelt quote, the man in the arena quote. The credit goes not to the critic, but it's the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena. That's the point. You've got to get in the arena to actually do something to have an impact. The critics are easy. Like there's just trolls. I've got trolls all the time. you should be doing this for free. You should give everything away for free. Why aren't you just helping people for free? And I'm like, because my landlord wants rent, mother. That's why. I got to pay rent. But I think one of the things that's really important is for us to remember that we can let other people's judgments inform us if they have experience.
Exactly.
Brett can give me feedback on my book because he's done a book. The troll who has never done anything, he has no real basis to give me criticism. He doesn't know what it actually took.
I want to pause in on this here because I see I if you're not watching this, you can see like this land, right? Didn't know what it actually took. Right. And this is part of why I like to share in these spaces here, because like we see you, right? And you give people a chance to see it. So outliers, my invitation to you right now is like spend some time for yourself and ask yourself, like, who are you giving power right now that really like hasn't like formed the basis for it? And even if they have formed the basis, like what if you didn't give them that power and you continued along anyway?
Mhm.
Let's keep this going. Anyone else have anything that they want to toss on this?
Like we say in Africa, experience is the best teacher.
Hmm.
I mean, and how do you gain experience? If you do something at the beginning, you may be shaky, you may not do it properly, it may not be as you want it to be. But if you give up and decide that, oh, okay, I've done this thing, it's not, I'm not on the bestsellers list, or I'm not the top 10 podcasts, or I'm not well known in my profession, and then you now chicken out and give up. I mean, what's the point? You might as well have not done anything. But if you want to achieve something, you keep doing it. Like a little child learning to walk, takes a few steps, falls down, gets up again, takes another few steps, falls, gets up again, and later on the child is walking. That is something I will always say. But as for what has my standing out has cost me, it's in it has cost me a lot, particularly when it comes to I don't play by the rules. I'm kind of like an outsider because of how I reason, because of how I take things, because of the math cases I take. People tend to not want to so much associate with me because I'm not within that clique of this is, let's just continue doing what the society expects us to do. But I always say, no, we need to do this, particularly for our unborn generations. And that has resulted in me not having so many friends and not relating well with a lot of my colleagues. But there are some people that are still valuing what I'm bringing to the table in terms of people that are actually needing the services, the education that I'm providing. And so I take courage from that as well. And I say, keep doing what you're doing. You may do it and you may not be satisfied. You may think it's not right, but if you keep doing it, one day you'll be able to create a delicious pot of soup that a lot of people will consider you a master chef. That's just my little contribution.
That's beautiful.
I like to play this out here. I Josephine, I really appreciate you calling in like the element of like what it's taken to stand out, because that's a part of this, that's probably the underlying element of this podcast. It's like we talk about outlier, and I talk a lot of times with people where I'm like, I'm afraid, and I don't mind calling it. There's a lot that I get done, but I'm afraid because I feel like this thing is going to take me from being an outlier to being an outcast, to being an outsider, right? It's like there's a cool way to do the thing, and I don't like, but like I'm not trying to do it that way. How can I still be amongst everyone else, you know? And like I'm running into that on like years and years and years into building this business, and there's still different different things that show up along the way. And so look, I don't know if there's a real question here or not yet, but I feel that it's been put into this space. Does anyone have anything that they want to say on that? You don't need to. If not, then I will ask a question. But like, did that bring up anything in anyone here?
It sounds to me like you want to know how to be an outsider as well as play along with those who are not the same thought process or thinking pattern as you.
You know, Josephine,
Is
like when
that
you
what you're
said, it
trying to
sounds to me that like you want to be, and then you took a little bit of a pause, and that to me was where the period was. I just want to be, you know? And I
do?
think that like in every single way, shape, or form. And I think like part of the reason I have it is I'm like, how are people being out in the world right now?
You
You
just
know,
have
and
to be
continue living on.
you. Just
Yeah,
be you.
yeah, yeah,
That's all.
yeah. Look at that. Brett,
No
look like you had to.
excuses, no fear.
It's easier said than done, though. Easier said than done. That's
Trust me, at the end of the day, you will be respected for your stance. And people will actually come at the end of the day to seek your opinion, to seek your wisdom. Because if you want to play by the rules, you may not, you may not be you, but you're just trying to conform. Conformity doesn't help anyone. Only people that are able to stand out and stand firm have been able to achieve great things. That is my belief. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I
Yeah.
know like the less I say, the more I understand, you know.
Okay.
And like this is great because I think uh, the style that I do in this podcast like puts me in the space to like get things confronted with. And there's things that you said, Josephine, I have to come back and listen to again because I'm like, oh, that's right. I didn't choose the easy path. I didn't choose like this is the path that we're on. So let's keep playing. Brett, I saw something. I felt like you had something you want to bring in, so let's bring it in.
Yeah. Yeah, there's two parts that I want to kind of break this down that I don't think people talk about enough. And the first part is everybody, knows the cliche of like surround yourself with like-minded people, which I believe in, and I think that that is a great term, but nobody really talks about how to find those people because I think that those people right now are doing something that you're probably not doing. So like your immediate
Exactly.
circle of friends oftentimes is so comfortable and conforming to all of your current habits. But if there's something that you want to change, what you have to do is you have to go out and seek and find them. And what I believe is the best way to do that is become the person that you want to be around, and then all of a sudden those people will find you. I'll give you an example here. I was never a runner. I've always preferred working out in the gym. I'm not built for distance or speed, and I was never really a runner. But all of a sudden I said, you know what? I'm finally going to check off this bucket list. I'm going to run my first marathon. And all of a sudden on social media I started posting about running and doing all these things. And here I am thinking none of my friends are runners. I don't know a lot of runners. Like nobody in my network is runners. I kind of feel like I don't have a lot of people to ask questions to. I started posting about running and I found out that I had a ton of runner friends. But you know what they never talked to me about? Running, because I had never talked about running and I wasn't a runner. So what you start to realize is sometimes you just have to put it out there and realize actually there are other people who think like me. There are other people who want what I want. I've just never expressed that interest. So they don't think that I'm one of those people. Here's the other part about that is I remember when I started to change a lot of my eating habits and I started to really embrace fitness. And I would go out with the guys and there'd be pizza and buffalo wings and all this stuff. And every once in a while I'd get a salad and a water, maybe instead of the pizza and the beers. And the same guys that would give me, they were my friends, but the same guys that would give me the most trouble. They would joke on me, they'd rip on me, and they'd be like, oh, he's getting another salad, like that kind of stuff. What I found really interesting, and I say this to encourage people hoping to make a change but afraid that their friends are going to maybe outcast them, is the same guys that gave me the most trouble and that joked me the most were the ones a year later or 2 years later sending me messages being like, hey man, do you have any advice? I'd really love to start eating the way you do. Or, hey, I'd really love to get, in healthier habits. Is there any advice that you have for me? I always see how healthy you are when we go out. And what was funny was if I didn't have the courage to keep going, they would never be the one messaging me. And now all of a sudden I can be the one holding the light that can light the way for the other people. So
Exactly.
I share that story because hopefully it encourages people to be, yeah, you might be the outcast for a little bit, but eventually you'll be the outlier. You'll be the one that they
Exactly.
turn to.
Exactly.
And I just want to jump in and say, like, what's wrong with being an outcast, being outside the mass group? Like, that's not necessarily a bad thing, is one part of it. And the other part of it is how many people can you save or help by being the one that's outside, being the voice of truth, being a different perspective. You know, I represent mostly men. Like 99% of my clients are men. Most family lawyers are like, that's insane. You're giving up half the market. No, I'm not.
Exactly.
No, I'm not. I'm making it really clear who I speak to. I am now known 15 years, 20 years after doing it. I'm the men's lawyer. That's what I'm known as. Today, I'm dadslawschool.com. I'm the TikTok dad. I'm a single gay man. I don't have kids, but I get called a TikTok dad because on TikTok, I play the role of a lawyer who's helping dads. By being outside the mainstream, I set myself apart so that I can elevate and help others. I regularly, and by regularly, I mean probably 4 times a week regularly, get DMs or emails from men who are like, thank you for your content. I'm ready to kill myself and you're keeping me going. You want to talk about wind beneath your wings. Like you get one of those and all of a sudden, dude, you don't care what the other people are saying about you. You help somebody save their life. Who are you
Yes.
not helping? That's the question in my mind. How many people could your 200-page book help?
So if you're not watching, I'm having a moment here, and I'm like happy but annoyed, which is
Yes.
the yeah, you know it. My people get it. I'm like, um, there's something you said, Dave, that really struck me there. Like when you were talking about the messages that you get in, I'm still getting goosebumps. Like my body's still processing that, and I think it like. Uh, I think that there's something that's playing out here, and I appreciate you all. Like this to me is like a real roundtable. It's like let's bring in what's real rather than just like but like what you're pulling out of me is an element of looking at what side of it's almost like what glass are you looking at? Like what like is it half full, half empty kind of cliche in that kind of regard, but it's like I haven't spent enough time thinking about the other side of it. Like what do people gain because you choose to show up? And I think
Right.
each of you are doing that right now. And look, it's fun because like I allow myself to be to let you know what's happening on the inside so that like you don't just compare like what you see on the outside. I'm doing good things,
I would
and
like
at the same time it's still playing. Yeah, just please.
yeah, I would like to share an experience that I
Mhm.
had with somebody that I represented in court. She's somebody that's living with HIV. And then at that era, there was a lot of stigma and discrimination. So even her having a lawyer, then she had nothing. She was not rich. She was living in a communal environment. So she was highly stigmatized. Then her landlord gave her notice to leave the premises. And then people were not allowing her to use the communal restrooms or the communal kitchen. It was a very nasty turn of events. So when got to my office, I represented her in court. And after my session in court, the landlord came and offered her a settlement and offered to even give her money for her to rent another apartment. So when the lady came to my office to thank me, she brought 2 giant loaves of bread to thank me for the services I provided. It's- That was my highest pay as a lawyer because to have seen her happiness and out of her meager allowance of money, she was able to buy 2 giant loaves of bread to come and to thank me with.
Mm.
It made me feel that I made a lot of impact in her life. So
Yeah.
we can't just be bogged down by being an outlier. Or I don't know if I'm pronouncing it
Yeah,
well.
no, it's in like y'all are fun. I'm grateful for you. I really am. I'm grateful for you because you're reminding me about what it's like on the other side. Right. And it's not to say that I'm not there, but it's like there's other sides to the other sides. Like there continues to be hills to cross. I'm liking this conversation, so I'm really grateful. What I'd like to do right now, let's see. I'm checking in on 2 things. the the question that's like I'm going to ask a question I don't normally do this, but it feels right. I'd love to like just kind of get in from Dave right now being really called to you and then as well, but like what are you getting from this conversation? What's been one of the things that's been like most interesting to you, or one of the things that like the yeah, well, let me start with that. Like what are you getting from this conversation, Dave?
Just encouragement to keep going,
Yeah,
to do more of what it is I'm doing,
yeah,
uh, because it's so important. The work is important, and it does have an impact on others. And whether it's Josephine's story or Brett's story or your story, it's encouraging me to continue pushing things out there. And it's I suffer from that voice of you're doing too much or you're just too repetitive. Like if I'm always talking about my book on the TikTok, it gets old to me. But the reality is, just because it's old to me doesn't mean it's old to the person who's seeing it for the first time. And so I have to remember that it's important for me to continue to put things out there because that's where the battle is for me.
I appreciate that, Dave. I needed that. I needed that reminder. Yeah, this very similar. I just think that there is a place for everybody who wants to play big. Anybody who wants to play big. The world is big enough. You look at us at all different corners of the world right here, and I really believe that there is a superpower inside all of us. And part of the best part of being here on the planet Earth is that we get to discover that. And I don't think that we discover it sitting in our living room watching TV. I really think it's in the exploration of going to find out what passions do you have. Talk to amazing people. Get around people who are doing big things. Expand your comfort zone. I love that phrase of just expand your comfort zone of who you're talking to, where you're surrounding yourself, change your environment, change what you're listening to, change what you're reading. Those are the type of things that really spark ideas and spark passions and can really change the trajectory of your life. And you're looking at some people here who have figured that out and found what sets them on fire. And now we're hopefully trying to change the world one person at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that feels good, y'all. I feel like we're kind of at a good spot. And what I want to do is this. Um, I'm going to invite each of you to do it to leave an outside for any outlier that's listening, right? So we'll do an outside. Yeah, we'll just keep that simple there. We'll invite each of you to do an outside. So an outside to me is like a takeaway that you want on behalf of for the listeners to leave this conversation with, right? Um, I'm like I don't often ask for us to talk directly at that. I'm like I don't think outliers are like to be told like what to think here. But I think there's something in this conversation, Dave. I think you pointed it out where it's like, wait, the basis for that has been established in this conversation. And so my invitation here is I'd like to go around to each of you. If there's one message that you'd like to leave with an outlier trailblazer today, it could be about anything we talked about, or it might just be like, like what you stand for, what your plan for stand for. Go ahead and like share that with us. And then afterwards, I'll make sure we get everyone's contact information. All right. Would anyone like to start? Why don't we go, I'll do this here. We'll go Josephine, Brett, and then Dave.
Okay, to everyone out there, you are special and you have what it takes to impact the world. Do not let society conform you and put you in a box. And don't be afraid. If you have dreams and the dreams are big, it's because God placed those dreams there to be achieved. You should try. And even when you fail, you try again and you keep trying until you get it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Josephine. Brett, how about you?
Yeah, I will just share the message that is not only on my heart right at this moment, but it's on the cover of my book, and it's that it's going to be uncomfortable either way. And my invitation to the listener is the change that you want to make, the splash that you want to have in this world, the changing of habits, changing of routines, changing of how you think, playing bigger. Yeah, that is going to be uncomfortable, but it is also just as uncomfortable and there's a lot more regret tied up in knowing that these things are inside of you, knowing that you're capable, but you just never took the risk to try and bring them to life. That's also really uncomfortable to sit and realize that those things are passing you by. So if it's going to be uncomfortable either way, choose the one that comes with confidence, choose the ones that comes with growth, and choose the one that can change the world.
That's really beautiful. And I think I think for me, the thing that I would want people to be mindful of is that if you don't have fear, you can't have courage. Courage demands that you have some fear that you are pushing against. So if you want to view yourself as courageous, you have to confront your fears, whether they be small fears or big fears, and just recognize that that fear is actually a stepping stone into courage so that you can become the person you want to be and do the help that you want to put out in the world.
Y'all are fantastic. Let's make sure that any outlier out there that wants to continue down the journey with you knows how to do that. So we'll go around in the same order here. Josephine, what's the best way for people to continue down with you?
You can reach out to me on Uzoya's Corner, my podcast. I mostly talk about governance in Nigeria, but if you are interested, you can give me a shout out or come on board and let us rub minds and share ideas together. Uzoya's Corner is on Spotify. Yes.
Thank you so much, Josephine.
You're
Brett, how
welcome.
about you?
Yeah, you can find me pretty much everywhere. My name, BretTeaton. BrettEaton.com is my website. Brett Eaton on Instagram, on pretty much all platforms. And my book, Uncomfortable Either Way, is already ready to order on Spotify, Barnes and Noble. I'm sorry, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and all the places books are found.
Nice. If you want to find Dave Pisarra, the best way to do it is go to dadslawschool.com. And if you're looking to find me on the TikTok, it's dadslawschool.com. The same thing on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, where we've got short form and long form videos, and soon to be the David Pisarra Show listed as our new podcast coming out, going up on dadslawschool.com.
Well, thank you all here. This has been quite an engaging conversation. Y'all have called out something that like has been sitting dormant here. And for any outlier that is feeling this here, I have one ask of you before we end this conversation. And that is to go out and share this out with your world. Yes. But there's there's probably someone in your life who this particular conversation was really meant for. The four of us had this conversation on that person's behalf. And if you wouldn't mind, it would mean the absolute world to us if you would go and share this episode with intention to them. Let them know you were thinking of them. And to you, Josephine, one of your earlier points here, like if you can change one person, if this is relevant for one person, then we've done our work here. And so with that, I ask you join us one person, one conversation at a time, share it with the person that would really, really benefit from this. And with that, outliers, we'll end for today. Here goes the thing. Just go out there and be you on purpose. Journey on.